The vastness of deep space stretched before Commander Marcus Chen like an endless canvas of darkness punctuated by distant stars. The bridge of the ESV Horizon, humanity's most advanced deep space vessel, hummed with the quiet efficiency of its systems. Marcus had spent the last 3 years leading this exploration mission, searching for signs of intelligent life in the Carina arm of the galaxy. "Commander, we're picking up an unusual energy signature," Lieutenant Sarah Rivera announced, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "It's unlike anything in our database." Marcus leaned forward in his command chair, dark eyes focusing on the main display. "Show me." The screen filled with a cascade of data, centered around a pulsing anomaly approximately 50,000 kilometers ahead. The energy pattern was erratic, almost like a heartbeat gone wrong. "It's not natural," Chief Science Officer Dr. James Wong commented, adjusting his spectacles. "The pattern suggests artificial origin, but it's degrading rapidly." Marcus made his decision instantly. "Plot an intercept course, Lieutenant. Whatever it is, it's in distress." The Horizon glided through space with practiced precision, its fusion drives pushing it toward the mysterious signal. As they drew closer, the ship's advanced sensors revealed more details. A vessel, roughly half the size of the Horizon, drifted in space. Its design was entirely alien, organic curves and crystalline structures that seemed to flow like frozen water. "Life signs?" Marcus asked, already suited up in his EVA gear. "One," Sarah confirmed. "Very weak, but stable. The ship's systems are failing. They've lost power to most sections." Marcus nodded to his executive officer. "Commander Park, you have the bridge. I'm leading the rescue team." The boarding party consisted of Marcus, Dr. Wong, and Lieutenant Commander Maria Santos, their chief medical officer. They crossed the void between ships through a secure docking tunnel, their magnetic boots keeping them anchored despite the alien vessel's failing artificial gravity. The interior of the ship was a marvel of bioengineering. Walls pulsed with faint bioluminescence, and corridors seemed to have grown rather than been constructed. The air was breathable, but had a sweet, unfamiliar scent. They found her in what appeared to be the ship's control center. She was humanoid, but clearly alien, tall and graceful, with iridescent skin that shifted colors like the surface of a soap bubble. Her eyes, when they fluttered open at their approach, were entirely silver with no visible pupils. "Medical assessment," Marcus ordered, kneeling beside the alien figure. Maria ran her scanner over the prone form. Severely dehydrated, showing signs of cellular degradation. But her vital signs are stabilizing just from our presence. It's almost as if... As if what? As if our presence is somehow beneficial to her physiology. The alien's eyes focused on Marcus, and suddenly his mind filled with images and emotions, not words, but concepts. Danger, loss, hope, help. The sensation was overwhelming but not invasive. "She's telepathic," Dr. Wong breathed, fascinated. "A natural evolutionary advantage for spacefaring species." Marcus removed his helmet, meeting the alien's silver gaze. "We're here to help," he said clearly, projecting his thoughts as best he could. "You're safe now." Relief flooded through the telepathic connection. The alien struggled to sit up, her movements graceful despite her weakness. She touched her chest with 3 delicate fingers. "Carissa," she transmitted, along with the concept that this was her name. "I'm Marcus," he responded, both verbally and mentally. "You're aboard the Earthship Horizon now. We'll take care of you." The medical team transferred Carissa to the Horizon's infirmary, where Maria could better treat her condition. As they worked, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter was more than just a random rescue. Carissa's ship had been traveling at sublight speeds, which meant she must have been drifting for years. The odds of finding her were astronomical. Over the next few days, as Carissa recovered her strength, communication became easier. She learned English with remarkable speed, though she still preferred telepathic communication for complex concepts. Her story began to emerge, She was a survivor, but of what she wouldn't yet say. The shadow in her silver eyes when Marcus asked about her people suggested a tragedy too painful to share. What became clear was that Carissa's physiology was unique. Her cellular structure seemed to stabilize in the presence of humans, particularly Marcus. Dr. Wang's preliminary studies suggested some form of quantum entanglement at the molecular level, but the mechanism remained a mystery. "Your species," Carissa said one evening, her melodic voice still uncertain with English, "you are different from all others we encountered. Special." Marcus sat beside her bed in the infirmary, now converted to accommodate her unique biological needs. Different how? She reached out, her iridescent fingers almost touching his hand before pulling back. "You carry within you something we lost long ago, something precious." Her silver eyes met his. "Commander Marcus Chen, I must ask you something that will change both our worlds forever." The gravity in her voice made Marcus lean forward. "What is it?" "First, I must tell you why I was really out there, alone in the void. My people," she paused, emotion rippling across her shimmering skin. "My people are dying, and you might be our only hope." Carissa's story unfolded like a tapestry of loss and hope. The soft blue lights of the medical bay cast shifting patterns across her iridescent skin as she shared her people's tragedy with Marcus. Her species, the Luminari, had once been a thriving civilization spanning dozens of star systems in the Carina Arm. "We were explorers, like you," she explained, her silver eyes reflecting starlight from the viewport. "Our ships sailed between the stars for thousands of years. We believed ourselves immortal, perfect." A ripple of sadness crossed her features. "We were wrong." The Luminari's genetic structure had been their greatest strength, adaptable, resilient, capable of absorbing beneficial traits from other species through a form of quantum resonance. But this gift had become their curse. Over generations, their DNA had become increasingly unstable, unable to maintain its coherence without external input from other species. Dr. Wang studied the data streaming across his tablet. "Fascinating. Your species essentially requires genetic diversity from other compatible life forms to maintain cellular stability. But why humans specifically?" Carissa's skin shifted to deeper blues and purples, emotions Marcus had learned to recognize as a mix of hope and anxiety. "Your species is unique in our database. Your DNA contains sequences we've never encountered before, patterns that seem to stabilize our degradation." Marcus watched the medical readouts above Carissa's bed. Her vital signs were strongest when humans were nearby, particularly himself. The effect couldn't be coincidence. "How many of your people are left?" he asked quietly. 10,000, she replied, her voice barely a whisper. "In stasis, orbiting our homeworld. I was chosen to seek help because my genetic structure was the most stable." She let out a soft, musical sound that might have been a laugh. Though stable is a relative term. The implications were staggering. An entire civilization hanging by a thread, their last hope resting on the chance encounter with a human exploration vessel. Marcus felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. Lieutenant Rivera's voice came through the intercom. "Commander, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command. Admiral Chen is requesting to speak with you." Marcus touched Carissa's hand briefly. "I'll be right back." In his private quarters, Marcus faced the holographic projection of Admiral Chen. No relation, despite the shared surname. The older woman's expression was grave. "Commander, your preliminary report about the alien survivor has caused quite a stir. Every xenobiologist on Earth is clamoring for more data." She paused, studying him. "But there are concerns." "What kind of concerns, Admiral?" "The Luminari's ability to absorb genetic traits. Some people are worried it could be weaponized, used against humanity." She held up a hand to forestall his protest. "I know what you're going to say. You've spent time with her, you trust her. But we have to consider the bigger picture." Marcus felt his jaw tighten. "With respect, Admiral, We're talking about saving an entire species. At what cost to our own security? The Admiral's hologram flickered. The Security Council is divided. For now, you're to maintain your position and continue gathering data. But do not make any promises to the alien. Is that clear? Crystal clear, Admiral, Marcus replied, his tone carefully neutral. When he returned to the medical bay, he found Carissa standing by the viewport, her tall form silhouetted against the stars. She turned to him, and he knew she had sensed his troubled thoughts. Your leaders fear us, she stated simply. They fear what they don't understand, Marcus corrected. It's a common human trait, but not an insurmountable one. Carissa moved closer, her movement graceful despite her weakened condition. In all our travels, we never encountered a species quite like humans. You fear, yes, but you also hope. You doubt, but you dream. You're capable of both great suspicion and great compassion. Her silver eyes seemed to peer into his soul. That duality makes you strong. Over the next few days, Carissa worked closely with Dr. Wong and his team, sharing everything she knew about luminary biology. The more they learned, the more extraordinary the situation became. The human genome contained sequences that acted like a stabilizing force on luminary DNA, preventing the cascade of degradation that had plagued their species. But there was a catch. The effect was strongest through direct genetic exchange, marriage in human terms. A mere scientific sampling wouldn't be enough to save her people. They needed willing human partners, a true joining of species. Marcus found Carissa in the ship's arboretum one evening, surrounded by earth plants that seemed to glow faintly in her presence. She was studying a simple rose, her fingers hovering just above its petals. Your plants, she said without turning, they sing to each other. Did you know that? Chemical signals, electrical impulses, a symphony of life. I didn't know, Marcus admitted, joining her. There's still so much we don't understand about our own world. Perhaps that's why you can help us, she mused. You haven't lost your capacity for wonder, for discovering new things. She finally turned to face him, and the intensity of her gaze took his breath away. Marcus, I must tell you something I've been afraid to say. The arboretum's artificial twilight cast soft shadows around them as Carissa gathered her courage. Her iridescent skin pulsed with waves of color, violet, azure, and gold, reflecting her inner turmoil. My people's salvation, she began, her melodic voice trembling slightly, requires more than just scientific cooperation. The genetic bond must be intimate, personal. She met Marcus's gaze. We need life partners, not test subjects. Marcus felt his heart skip a beat as the full implications hit him. You're talking about marriage, actual unions between our species. Yes, Carissa's silver eyes seemed to glow in the dim light. And I'm asking you, Marcus Chen, to be the first, to marry me. The silence that followed was heavy with possibility and consequence. Through their growing telepathic connection, Marcus could feel a desperate hope radiating from her, tinged with genuine affection that had developed over their time together. Carissa, he started, his voice gentle, I'm a starship commander. My first duty is to my crew, my mission. And my first duty is to my people, she interrupted, stepping closer. But this isn't just about duty anymore. You feel it too, don't you? The connection between us, it's stronger than simple biology. Before Marcus could respond, the ship's alert system blared to life. Lieutenant Rivera's voice crackled over the intercom. Commander to the bridge immediately. We're receiving an emergency transmission from Earth Command. The bridge was tense when Marcus arrived, Carissa following close behind. The main screen showed Admiral Chen's face, her expression grave. Commander, the Security Council has made its decision. You are to return to Earth immediately. The alien visitor will be transferred to a secure facility for further study. Marcus felt Carissa's fear spike through their telepathic link. Admiral, with respect, Carissa is not a lab specimen. She's a diplomatic representative of her species. This isn't a request, Commander. It's an order. The Admiral's eyes narrowed. There are concerns about the extent of her telepathic abilities and the potential for manipulation of human personnel. Manipulation. Marcus couldn't keep the edge from his voice. Admiral, the Luminari are dying. They're reaching out to us for help. A convenient story. A new voice interrupted. The camera panned to reveal General Harrison, head of Earth's Defense Council. One that plays perfectly on human sympathy, but we have to consider the security implications. For all we know, this could be the prelude to an invasion. Carissa stepped forward, her dignity evident despite the accusation. We are not invaders. We are survivors, seeking help from the only species that can provide it. If you imprison me, you condemn my entire race to extinction. The general's face remained impassive. That's a risk we'll have to take. After the transmission ended, Marcus stood in silence, his mind racing. He'd sworn an oath to Earth, to follow the chain of command. But he'd also sworn to protect life, to explore and build bridges between species. They're afraid, Carissa said softly. Fear clouds their judgment, makes them see threats where none exist. Marcus turned to his senior staff. Options? Dr. Wong spoke first. The genetic compatibility data is conclusive. The Luminari aren't lying about their condition, and Carissa's deterioration will accelerate if she's separated from human contact. We could request asylum for her, Lieutenant Rivera suggested. Some of the more progressive colonies might be willing to defy Earth's authority. Commander Park shook her head. That would be career suicide for everyone involved. We'd be court-martialed. Marcus felt the weight of command pressing down on him. Earth's orders were clear, but so was the moral imperative. He thought about humanity's long history of facing moments like this, choices between what was safe and what was right. Carissa, he said finally, turning to face her. You asked me a question earlier. I have an answer for you. The bridge crew fell silent as Marcus took Carissa's hands in his. Through their touch, emotions flowed freely, trust, hope, affection, and something deeper that neither had dared name. I, Marcus Chen, accept your proposal of marriage. His voice was firm, carrying the weight of decision. Not just for your people's salvation, but because in the short time we've known each other, you've shown me what true courage looks like. Carissa's skin blazed with joy, lighting up the bridge like an aurora. But Marcus wasn't finished. However, he continued, we're going to do this right. Not as a secret, not as an act of defiance, but as a bridge between our peoples. I'm going to fight for this, through proper channels, with full transparency. He looked at his crew. And I'm not going to ask any of you to risk your careers. This is my choice. Commander Park stepped forward. With respect, sir, you don't get to hog all the glory in this first contact situation. A smile played at her lips. We're with you. One by one, the bridge crew nodded their agreement. Even as alarms warned of approaching Earth vessels, a plan began to form. They would need to convince not just Earth's leadership, but its people. They would need to prove that love, even between species, could overcome fear. And they would need to hurry, because with each passing hour, the clock was ticking not just for Carissa, but for her entire civilization. The next 48 hours aboard the ESV Horizon became a delicate dance of diplomacy and defiance. Marcus had ordered the ship to maintain position, neither returning to Earth nor fleeing, while he implemented his plan. The bridge crew worked tirelessly, gathering evidence and preparing their case. Dr. Wong's laboratory had become the center of their efforts. Holographic displays showed the intricate dance of human and Luminari DNA, a beautiful symmetry that couldn't be denied. Look here, he explained to the gathered journalists joining via quantum link. The human genome contains sequences that act like a key, unlocking stable genetic pathways in Luminari DNA. It's not invasion or manipulation, it's compatibility millions of years in the making. The media storm that followed was unprecedented. Earth's population was divided, but more importantly, they were engaged. The story of Carissa and her people had captured humanity's imagination. Public opinion is shifting, Lieutenant Rivera reported, monitoring the global feeds. The marriage proposal is trending on every social network. People are calling it a star-crossed romance for the ages. But not everyone was swayed by the romance of it all. The approaching Earth defense vessels served as a constant reminder of the opposition they faced. General Harrison's voice crackled through their communications regularly, alternating between threats and attempts at persuasion. "Think about your career, Chen," the general urged during one transmission. "Think about your family's legacy. Are you really willing to throw it all away for an alien?" Marcus stood firm, Carissa by his side. "I'm willing to fight for what's right, General. Something I learned from my family's legacy." The turning point came from an unexpected source. Dr. Maria Santos, their chief medical officer, made a breakthrough while studying Carissa's medical data. "Commander, you need to see this," she called out one morning, her voice urgent with discovery. The medical-based screens displayed complex molecular structures. "The Luminari's ability to absorb genetic traits isn't just about survival," Maria explained. "Their DNA can act as a repository of genetic information. They're living libraries of evolutionary history." Carissa nodded, her skin shimmering with excitement. "Yes, our ancestors preserved the genetic codes of thousands of species we encountered, including some that no longer exist." "Extinct species." Dr. Wang's eyes widened behind his spectacles. "You mean?" "We carry within us the genetic heritage of civilizations lost to time," Carissa confirmed. "With proper study, we could help humanity recover and preserve endangered species, even restore lost ones." The implications were staggering. This wasn't just about saving the Luminary. It was about preserving the genetic heritage of the galaxy itself. Marcus immediately understood the power of this revelation. But even as hope grew, so did the challenges. A faction within Earth's government, led by General Harrison, moved to classify the Luminary as a potential biological weapon. They claimed that any species capable of manipulating genetic code on this scale posed an inherent threat to humanity. The Horizon's crew fought back with transparency. They began broadcasting their research data openly, allowing scientists worldwide to verify their findings independently. Carissa participated in public interviews, her gentle wisdom and genuine love for humanity evident to all who spoke with her. During a rare quiet moment, Marcus found Carissa in their now shared quarters, studying old Earth photographs. "These images," she said softly, "they tell the story of your species. So much struggle, so much growth." She turned to him, her silver eyes bright with emotion. "You face extinction-level events, wars, disasters, and yet you always find a way to hope, to love, to move forward." Marcus sat beside her, feeling the now familiar warmth of their telepathic connection. "That's what humans do best. We adapt, we overcome. It's why I believe this will work." "But at what cost to you?" Carissa's skin rippled with concern. "Your career, your standing in your society. Some things are worth the cost." He took her hand, watching as their joined fingers created patterns of light beneath her iridescent skin. "Besides, I'm not alone in this fight." He was right. Support continued to grow. Scientific institutions worldwide began publishing papers supporting the Luminary's claims. Environmental groups rallied behind the possibility of restoring extinct species. Religious leaders debated the spiritual implications of interspecies marriage, with many coming out in favor of universal love. But perhaps most surprisingly, other members of Earth's military began speaking out. Veterans of first contact missions, xenobiologists who had worked in deep space, and even some within the Security Council itself started questioning the hardline stance against the Luminary. Admiral Chen, who had initially opposed them, requested a private meeting with Marcus and Carissa. When her hologram appeared in Marcus's quarters, her expression was thoughtful rather than stern. "My grandmother," she began unexpectedly, "was part of the first Mars colony. She used to tell me stories about how Earth opposed the colonists' right to self-governance, how they had to fight for their autonomy. She smiled slightly. Sometimes progress requires us to take brave steps into the unknown. It was the first crack in the wall of opposition, but they knew it wouldn't be the last battle they would face. As Earth's ships drew closer and the debate raged on, Marcus and Carissa prepared for what would come next. Their love had become more than just a personal connection. It had become a symbol of hope for both their species, a bridge between stars. The warning signs began subtly. Carissa's skin, once brilliantly iridescent, started losing its luster. Dr. Santos' daily scans showed increasing cellular instability, despite Marcus's constant presence. The genetic deterioration was accelerating faster than anyone had anticipated. Her system is destabilizing, Dr. Santos reported grimly, showing Marcus the latest medical readings. The temporary stability she gained from human contact is wearing off. Without a permanent bond, she has maybe 2 weeks left. The news hit the crew hard. They had grown to love Carissa, not just as an alien visitor, but as family. Her gentle wisdom and unwavering courage had touched them all. Meanwhile, Earth's political machinery ground slowly onward. Debates continued in the Security Council, scientific panels argued back and forth, and bureaucrats filed endless reports. Time, the one thing Carissa didn't have, was being wasted on procedure. "We need to force their hand," Commander Park suggested during an emergency staff meeting. "Make them understand this isn't just about politics anymore." Marcus nodded, his face set with determination. "Lieutenant Rivera, get me a direct link to every major news network on Earth. It's time to show them exactly what's at stake." The broadcast that followed was unlike anything in human history. Carissa, her weakness now visible to all, spoke directly to Earth's population. She showed them memories of her dying world, shared the pain of watching her people enter stasis one by one, and revealed the beauty of luminary culture, their art, their music, and a deep respect for all forms of life. But it was her words about humanity that moved hearts across the globe. "In all our travels," she said, her voice growing weaker, but her silver eyes still bright, "we never found another species like humans. You feel so deeply, love so fiercely, dream so boldly. You look at the stars and see not just points of light, but bridges to cross, worlds to explore. Your DNA carries this spirit, this magnificent combination of strength and compassion. That's why it can save us. That's why we chose you." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Protests erupted outside government buildings worldwide. Scientists released statements supporting immediate action. Religious leaders called for compassion. But Earth's military vessels were still approaching, and General Harrison remained unmoved. "A touching performance," he transmitted, "but it changes nothing. The security risk is too great." Then Dr. Wong made a discovery that changed everything. "Commander." He burst onto the bridge, tablet in hand. "The luminary genetic structure, it's not random. The degradation follows a pattern that matches us." "What do you mean?" Marcus asked, feeling Carissa's sudden surge of interest through their link. "Their DNA is deteriorating in a way that makes it specifically compatible with human genetics. It's as if..." He paused, amazed by his own conclusion, "as if they were designed to merge with us eventually, like two halves of the same whole." Carissa's skin flickered with recognition. "The architects," she whispered. "The ancient species our legends speak of, who seeded the galaxy with life. They didn't just create us separately, they created us to find each other." The revelation sent shockwaves through both human and luminary society. This wasn't just about saving one species anymore, it was about fulfilling a destiny millions of years in the making. But Carissa's condition was deteriorating rapidly. During a quiet moment in the medical bay, she caught Marcus's hand, her touch barely warm. "Even if they had proved too late," she whispered, "know that finding you made everything worth it." Marcus felt tears in his eyes but forced a smile. "Don't talk like that. We're not giving up." That's when Admiral Chen's hologram appeared, her expression urgent. "Commander, we've received a transmission from deep space. More Luminari ships have been detected, approaching from multiple directions." Marcus felt Carissa's surprise through their link. "Impossible," she said. "All my people are in stasis." "Not all," a new voice spoke. The hologram shifted to show another luminary, her skin a deep emerald. "I am Varana, leader of the Hidden Ones. We are those who left before the degradation began, seeking other solutions. We detected Carissa's distress signal and came to help. But it seems," her silver eyes twinkled, "that she has found a better answer than we ever did." The arrival of more luminari changed the political landscape instantly. Earth couldn't ignore or contain this anymore. It had become a true first contact situation with an entire civilization. But for Marcus and Carissa, politics had ceased to matter. Her condition was critical now, her once brilliant skin nearly transparent. The medical bay worked around the clock, trying to slow the degradation while Earth's leaders scrambled to respond. In the end, it came down to a single moment. As Carissa's vital signs began to crash, Marcus made his decision. Without waiting for Earth's permission, without concern for his career or the consequences, he initiated the genetic bonding ceremony that the Luminari used for marriage. As their hands joined and their DNA began to merge, the medical bay erupted with light. Carissa's skin blazed like a newborn star, and every human present felt a surge of connection, not just to her, but to the vast tapestry of life itself. They had taken the first step into humanity's next great adventure. But will it be enough to save Carissa's life? The light from the genetic bonding ceremony faded slowly, like a sunset stretching its final rays across the horizon. In the medical bay of the ESV horizon, every monitor and sensor recorded the unprecedented event, the first successful union between human and luminari DNA. Carissa's skin had stabilized into a deep, healthy opalescence, shifting with patterns that seemed to mirror Marcus's own heartbeat. Dr. Santos' scans showed something remarkable. Their genetic structures had achieved perfect harmony, creating a template that could save both species. "It's beautiful," Dr. Wong breathed, studying the data. "The merger isn't just stable, it's creating new possibilities, new potential we never imagined." The news spread across Earth and through the gathered luminary ships like a wave of light. Varana, speaking for the Hidden Ones, addressed the combined fleet of Earth and luminary vessels. "For generations, we sought salvation among the stars," she said, her holographic image displaying the deep wisdom of her years. "We never dreamed it would come in the form of love, the simplest and most powerful force in the universe." General Harrison, who had been leading the opposition, found himself faced with irrefutable evidence of success. The genetic merger had not only saved Carissa, but had unlocked new medical possibilities for humanity. Early studies suggested increased resistance to disease, enhanced cellular repair, and even potential life extension. "Well, Commander Chen," he transmitted, a note of grudging respect in his voice, "it seems I owe you. And all of us owe your wife an apology." The word wife sent ripples of joy through the telepathic link Marcus and Carissa now shared permanently. Their connection had deepened beyond anything either species had known before, a bridge between two ways of being that proved just how limitless love could be. The following months brought rapid change. Earth's governments, working with the Luminary Council, established protocols for more unions between willing partners. The Hidden Ones shared their centuries of research, while Earth provided the genetic diversity the Luminary so desperately needed. But perhaps the most profound change came in how humanity saw itself. The knowledge that they had been designed to be compatible with the Luminary, that their very DNA carried the key to saving another species, transformed humanity's view of their place in the cosmos. "We were never meant to be alone," Marcus said during the formal ceremony establishing the Earth-Luminary Alliance. "The stars aren't just places to explore, they're paths leading us to each other." Carissa, standing beside him, her skin glowing with health and happiness, addressed the gathered representatives. My people once thought our genetic adaptability was our greatest strength. We were wrong. Our greatest strength was our ability to recognize love when we found it, even across the vast distances of space. The awakening of the luminari in stasis began gradually, each one carefully matched with compatible human partners who had volunteered after learning of their story. The process would take years, but now there was hope and time. One evening, aboard the Horizon, Marcus found Carissa in their favorite spot in the Arboretum. Earth plants now grew alongside luminary specimens, creating new hybrids that glowed with combined genetic potential. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked, though their telepathic bond had already shown him the answer. "Taking such a chance on humanity?" Carissa turned to him, her silver eyes reflecting the starlight from the viewport. Her skin rippled with patterns that matched his own emotional state: deep love, contentment, and excitement for the future. "How could I regret finding my other half across the stars?" she replied, both aloud and through their bond. "We were written in each other's DNA since the beginning of time. We just have to be brave enough to read the story." Above them, through the viewport, Earth and the luminary fleet hung in space like jewels against the black. Vessels from both species moved between them, carrying volunteers, scientists, and dreamers ready to forge a new future together. The universe, vast and mysterious, had revealed one of its greatest secrets. That love, in all its forms, was the force that truly bound the cosmos together. As humans and luminari joined hands and hearts across the stars, they proved that evolution itself could be guided by compassion, courage, and the willingness to reach across the void to find each other. Marcus and Carissa's story became legend, taught to children of both species as the moment when fear gave way to hope, when biology merged with destiny, and when two species learned that the greatest discoveries come not from conquering the stars, but from opening their hearts to the infinite possibilities of love. And somewhere, in the vast cosmic dance, the ancient architects who had seeded both species looked upon their work and saw that it was good.